I switched from referlink.co to referhook.com. Let me tell you why. Welcome back to my show. My name is Mark Birkin. We discuss business development, marketing on this channel. And today we're talking about the .com name, why it's so important. Now I'm developing a SaaS product, service as software as a service, and I switched from referlink.co to referhook.com. Why? Does .com name still matter in today's era? That is the question. You would think we have so many other names now that .com name is basically not important anymore. Now, it has become that, and the reason for that is because the .com names have been taken. All the short ones, all the good ones are taken, so it's much easier to create a .is versus finding some extremely long .com name. But nonetheless, if you still can find a .com name, that still matters quite a bit. So, can I give you a little bit of a thumb rule of what does this look like? In the marketing industry, what they kind of talk about is if we're going to give marketing 100% scale of 100%, where does the .com land, like numbers-wise? And what I found is that about 25% of the whole marketing is the .com name. 60% comes from the brand itself. So you can still butcher, you can still have a .com name, but you can still butcher it by not having a good brand name. And only about 15% comes from all other trust factors such as SEO, website, your social media, and all that stuff. So I'll kind of give you an example why that 15% is 15%. Most people search for your domain, or not your domain, your brand name. So if they're going to be looking for me, they're going to be looking for Referhook. That's why I'm switching very early. We haven't fully released the product yet. It's released, referhook.com. You can go check it out. But that's what they're going to be looking for. Or my Anderson roofs or my Anderson construction. That's what they're going to be looking for. So that's why in the SEO world, that's going to be the number one thing you're going to be popping up for is your actual brand name. For example, 1,000 bulbs. What are they going to be looking for? They're not going to be looking for a specific bulb. They're going to be looking for 1,000 bulbs. Because I forgot, was it .com? Was it something else? I'll just search for 1,000 bulbs. That's what they're going to be looking for. And then your website will pop in. That is the number one search that people will do when they look for you. So that's why SEO and all the other trust factors only have about 15%, which is important. Obviously, if you want to, climb from 75, let's say your brand name is not at 60, it's a little less, and your .com name is not 25%, it's a little less. So the SEO makes up for that. I'm not talking about SEO, like SEO and all the other things, website and all that. Anyway, so the question is why? Why is brand name such a huge thing? And why is .com such a huge number? Well, let's talk about the 25%. What really makes it so important? And so I have a list over here of some of these important things. Number one is trust. Trust is still a big, big thing. People trust a .com name more than any other name. That's because of the scammers out there, spammers out there. They basically can't buy a .com name because a lot of times they're very expensive. So they start a bunch of spam websites, like even in the in emails, they'll have frank@google.us.in or something like that. It's like, when people look at it, it's like, who is this? It looks like spam, delete. Those are all the domain names or subdomain names. And when they see a .com name, people immediately trust that over anything else. So trust is still a big factor. With trust, obviously, comes perception. Obviously, without trust, the perception has to be good as well. It's how they perceive you. Now, perception is kind of like, are you old or are you young company? .com names almost immediately are perceived as older, more established. That's why .com name matters a lot in this case. If you starting out, you don't want to be nobody wants to be known as he just started it. So that's why. And the third one is memorability. It is difficult enough to remember somebody's brand name. Now you add in another factor for people to remember. Is it .com? Is it .is? Is it .co? Memorability. Obviously, you can make it short, but still, that little .com, you want to get rid of it. If it's a .com, it's assumed it's .com. Instead of people emphasizing, it's .is, not .com, you know. SEO sort of resolves that because if they know your brand name, they'll just search for it and it doesn't matter, obviously. But nonetheless, it matters. Number 4 is protection. In my case, referralink.co. Somebody owns referralink.com. And if you look at the name referralink, what does it mean? Probably referring, probably links. And so that person or somebody else can come in and buy out the .com name and undercut me, take my market overnight. Because when people remember referral link, they probably want to type in referralink.com. That's why you want to be able to protect your brand. .com is very important. And conversion, obviously, people trust that name much more for reasons I already stated. People tend to convert better because if they're on some .is, .in domain, they probably don't click that buy button or call button as often as they would on a .com name, because that just screams trust this company. This is an established company versus not. So what are my updates in my company, I guess, in what I'm doing? I've hired a marketing guy. I didn't hire him. I partnered. This is my brother, Andre Birkin. He has done quite a bit of social media very successfully. So he's going to be handling our marketing. And I'll be handling the development. Eventually, we'll both be handling marketing. We'll just hire out most of the development to serious developers out there. So where am I at with development? We are at the point of compliance, the SMS compliance. SMS is very protected in the United States, and it's very difficult to get, I guess. I tried Twilio, that sort of failed. It's like a black hole over there. They're a great company, except they're very complicated. Can't even find half the stuff over there. It's very difficult. So I switched to a different company. I think it's like Telnix or something like that. Much easier to deal with, much better UI, and they're much cheaper as well. But nonetheless, compliance is compliance on either and. It doesn't matter. I'm going to have to deal with that, and that's what I'm dealing with. We've added, you can order stuff, but now there's also an issue of payout. If a person says $100, do we give a gift card and there's services out there for that, or do we pay out directly? So that's the part we're still having to figure out. What do I do? So that's sort of where I'm at with Referral Hook, but everything is working. We're adding a lot more features, and one big thing that we did. So basically, I've created two apps at this point, and then a third one's in the works as well. And that is, we are now thinking bigger. Like, the thing I'm thinking about is, how do I make this not a $500,000 company, but into $1 million company? And that is, we need to create a bigger OS system, but at the end of the day, it's basically an AI employee. Super excited about this. I'm probably going to create a separate video for that, but it's an AI employee for contractors or for local companies in a way. When you say contractors, quite a bit of stuff that goes in that. Even your landscaper is a contractor. I'm just using the contractor because it's a general word that most people use to do any sort of service on your house or your property. Anyway, super excited. That would be under my domain name, which is Solidify Digital. It's kind of already up. If you want to kind of go and glance what it looks like, you can go check it out. And it's basically an AI agent or an AI employee that it does already refer hook, because we connected refer hook to it. And it will do your website, your SEO, your invoicing, your estimation, anything that the local business needs, this AI employee needs to be able to do. Basically anything that's digital, computer related, I want an AI agent to do that for you. And plus some more, because he'll have memory and make decisions, some basic decisions for you as well, automations and all that stuff. That's what an AI employee should be able to do. But that's a quick little ad for you, what's coming. Anyway, I think that's it for this video, guys. I'll keep you updated in the next one. Take care.